So for instance, once you do log into YouTube, you're in the account, and a good thing to do is always verify you're in the correct account. And you can see this little logo here has our Mesa CTL logo, and that I'm in the Center for Teaching and Learning account. And if I click on that logo, I do get a little menu. This is where I'm going to need to go, and you're looking for this YouTube Studio gear or cog. And if I click on that, that's going to take me to my channel dashboard and all the tools that I have access to. And the one we're concerned with obviously today is the subtitles. We want to be able to go in and correct subtitles. So you can see there's a couple of other things in this menu on the left here. And the one you want to go to is subtitles. And that's going to bring up my videos that have been auto-captioned by YouTube. And I'm sure everybody's aware of, whenever you do upload a video to YouTube these days, it will use machine language and machine learning to go through the audio and auto-caption it the best it can. And obviously, it doesn't get it 100% right, which is why we're here today, and to show you how to go in and maybe make some changes to the text, because it usually gets that, it can get that wrong for things like, we've run into like scientific terminology, things in life science, chemistry, where it might not have gotten a word correct, or also another thing is sometimes the audio isn't very good, so YouTube isn't able to extract the correct audio sometimes, so it may have a drop and the caption may be incorrect. So what we want to do here, and let's see, published. So if I click on a video, and I just clicked on, again, I'm going to go back here, you can filter this list by these things at the top, and I'm just showing all of the videos that are up there right now. So I can just go to the one video that maybe I'm concerned with, and I just can click on that, and then it's going to take me to video subtitles, and you can see already it does have automatic subtitles published already. And what we want to do is we want to go into those automatic titles and make some corrections possibly. So what you need to do is you see the little 3 dots over here on the right. If you click on those options, the first one is what you're concerned with, this edit on Classic Studio. And it's kind of confusing because the captioning tool is still in the Classic Studio. They've made this transition recently with YouTube to this new studio environment with the dashboard and the stuff we just went through. But the captioning is still in the Classic Studio. So what it's going to do is when you click on this, it's going to open up a separate tab in your browser and kind of kick you back to the Classic Studio that has the captioning tool in it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you'll see up here now I've got a separate tab open, and it brings me to the video with the captioning tool. So as of right now, everything's kind of locked because it's grayed out. So if I did want to in fact make some changes to these captions, you have to kind of unlock things, and you want to click on edit. So once I click on edit, you can now see these windows open up over here, and I'm able to kind of bounce in there and make edits if I want. And you can come over here, and it's really cool because you can kind of scrub through the timeline. You can go forward and backwards. You can also scroll over here on the left, and if I click on certain windows, you can see it jumps to that section of the video. So you may get maybe someone has watched the video and they're like, hey, I noticed about 5 minutes in there was a typo, or it didn't look like it got the right word, so you might want to go and make a correction. So this is kind of a way where maybe you can skip around, and you can see the time code on the side here of when this specific caption takes place. So it's really cool because you can see this caption appears at 3 minutes and 28.2 seconds in, and it lasts until 3:33.6. which is great because you can go in and you can monitor that.
Or sequence of courses. But the reality is almost all learners benefit from embedding these strategies.
So the idea is, and YouTube, I would say, is like really good about getting the timing of the captions right. But maybe, it might need a nudge in one direction or the other. And it's cool because you could say, I feel like that subtitle or this particular subtitle went away a little too quickly and I want it to stay a little longer. So that's where you can come in, you can actually click on these times and you can nudge them. You can type in, like, say, if I wanted to, I can make this title last until 334.0, but then be aware of, you'll have to adjust when the next one comes in, because the next one comes in right after it. As it stands right now, it has the same time. So if I were to change this to like 34 seconds, 0.0, then be aware that I need to probably come in here and make a change to the next one too. So this one would probably need to come in at 34.3 or something like that. But I would say typically, I rarely run into a problem with YouTube's timing. Most of the time you're going to see, words or things that maybe it missed as far as spelling, or because there was an audio drop or something like that, or whatnot when the person was recording it. It might just get a word completely wrong, and that's where you can come in here and you can make those changes.
Question.
Uh-huh.
When you change the time by typing it, for instance, you did 1:39, but the next entry is, 3:39. You change it to 3:39, and the next entry is 3:38. Will it nudge you, hey, there's an error? Hey, there's an error.
It's not going to tell you that, no. Unfortunately, yeah, that's what I was saying. You have to be cognizant. If you're nudging one, you need to be aware of how that's going to affect the ones next to it. And it doesn't have that capability to warn you of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying, I just wanted to point that out. If you do make some nudges here and there, just be aware of, like, what for instance, like if I want to make timing changes to this one, just be aware of the timing of the last one, when that one ends, and then also you're going to have to be aware of when the next one begins. And you kind of, it's just not that sophisticated, so you do have to be aware of that. If you do make some timing changes, just be aware of the timing of the captions that are around the one that you are editing, and make sure that those times reconcile and don't overlap each other. But yeah, I don't know if you might, maybe you have more experience in this. Have you seen a lot of timing issues with the auto captions, or does it usually get it pretty right? Anybody out there had experience with that?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Yeah, because I haven't seen like where I'm like, whoa, that caption was just way off in the timing, or it came in late. But it is conceivable it could happen if there's some audio issues or loud noises in the video and things like that. But you do have that capability to change those things. So, and then the idea is once you've gone through, and again, you can come in and scrub through your video. If you do know something, again, is a little bit later in the video, you can use the scrubber here underneath the video to get further along, and then of course you can hit play.
The other resource that I linked here is simply our MCC library e-resources.
And there is another way, and I don't usually recommend this because it's kind of hard to tell. You do have grab handles. This is another way where you can adjust the timing of the captions, but I honestly don't recommend it because you can't get as granular as you can with just typing in, because see, over here you can actually nudge it by 1/10 of a second. So you can get much better results by just typing in and seeing how it looks, and then just readjusting it until you get the timing that you like. Because these grab handles, it's very difficult to get that close with the timing. So I really recommend just using, and plus you have, again, that visual. You want to make sure that your timings don't overlap over here. So I encourage, if you are going to make adjustments to the timing, to use the type in tool over here on the left. And then once you do have your edits done, it's very straightforward. Once you've made all your corrections and whatnot to the timing and the text, all you have to do is click on Publish Edits. which I'm going to do right now. And that is it. It takes you back here. You get a little confirmation with a check that your subtitles have been published again, and then you're all set to go. And that's really the gist of it. It's pretty straightforward. There is I wish there was it, as far as subtitle correction and stuff goes. I have to say it's pretty decent. We have found the YouTube way of doing things a little bit quicker than the manual way that we've done things in the past with some of the software that we've used. We found like a typical captioning without any kind of machine language with doing it manually has always been about a 1:6 or a 1:7 ratio. So if we had 1 hour of video, it would roughly take about 7 hours to correctly caption it. So very time consuming. So this idea that YouTube at least gets you, a good part of the way there, but then you can use this tool to kind of get in there and really dial it in as far as the timing and making sure that there's no typos and corrections. So this gets you, being able to do this will get you fully there. But that's pretty much the gist of it. Once you are finished here, if you just click on the Return to YouTube Studio, it's just going to take you back here to your dashboards, and if you had other videos that you need to go in and do, again, just click on the subtitles, navigate to the video that you need to do. Just remember over here, you just click on the 3 little dots, Edit in Classic Studio. It's going to open up a separate tab, a new video, click on Edit, and that's going to unlock everything. Do your edits, publish edit, and that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Andrew, it's Lisa.
Hello.
Can you, once you do the YouTube part, is it possible that the other software that's available could be submitted up through that and then it just corrects it? It will auto-correct it, or is that just not ever been thought of or done?
What? Explain the workflow again. I'm not getting the workflow. So I have a video.
Once you're done with YouTube and you've got all the closed captioning done, the other softwares that might be available, could you take it after you've completed YouTube and submit it up through there to see if it could correct through the other softwares? Or is that just I don't know the softwares. I'm just thinking. I wonder.
Yeah, those softwares are for working with the video before it gets to YouTube. That was the idea, is that, because there used to be a time when YouTube didn't even do closed captioning, like it didn't do it at all, and we would have to manually. I think it was like Dragon Naturally Speaking or something like that, where that software had the machine language to kind of recognize the audio and try and do the best it could, but then we would have to go in and manually add it. Or it also had the ability to do a transcript and whatnot and then publish it. So that workflow, it worked, but it was very tedious and time consuming, where it feels like, you get it to YouTube, it gets you a pretty good, a good way there, and then you just come in and use these correction tools to get it fully corrected. Unless you know of a better workflow, this seems to be the best option, unless someone else has done it another way and sees a better way of doing it.
I don't. I'm on the discovery road myself. I do have 2 softwares that you guys probably already have. I'll share the names with you. I was going to do that earlier, but I haven't.
Yeah.
You could tell me if you've used them, because I'm really curious.
Yeah, and I've used some in the past, and like I said, it was the old way of doing things, and like I said, the ratio typically ended up being like 6 or 7 to 1, because not only you had to get all the text in there, you had to time it correctly. And that is the time consuming part too, is making sure the right text shows up at the right time. So it was a very slow process, where I feel like YouTube, it gets the timing almost like perfect. It's just the words, sometimes it might get a typo or get some of it wrong. And then this tool, you can come in here and make those corrections. But even the timing, even if it if there's a timing issue, you can still go in and nudge the times if you feel like you want them to be better. So it does provide that. I just feel like this is the best workflow. It gets the video up, it gets something on the video, and then you have the ability to go in and really fine tune it, and then go from there.
Oh, it has proven itself to be a good tool because I trained on the Dragonware,
Yeah.
and you had to do the paragraph, and the software would recognize your voice because we're all unique.
Right.
It would recognize the voice, but if you didn't recognize the voice and you start submitting all these YouTubes up through like Dragon software,
Yeah.
it wouldn't recognize. It wouldn't. You had a lot more errors.
Yeah.
And YouTube's done a really good job of
Yeah,
capturing most of it.
It's hard to beat a giant, conglomerate with data centers all over the world doing, machine language. It's going to do the best, it's going to do better than a standalone package because it does use like AI, and it's always collecting new information and recognizing audio better and better and better. So, of course, it's not 100%, but I feel like it's getting pretty accurate. But at least they do provide the tools. Because, like I said, even I've run into some chemistry terms or pathophysiology stuff where it didn't hear it right, or it might have got a term misspelled, but you can come in here and just make that correction. But it's pretty straightforward. It's really not too difficult, and it's all online, which is great too, because the minute you publish those edits, they're live, so it like corrects it pretty much immediately, which is great. So
just for the background history on this, that all
Sure.
live streaming can be closed captioned through YouTube, but the third parties, they cannot be. Like if you took a third-party movie and submitted it, didn't have closed captioning on it, and it was an older archived movie.
Yeah.
So what are the limitations on what you can submit to YouTube and what you cannot?
Yeah, I mean there's fair use when it comes to EDU, like education. Like you're allowed to use, like we have a instructor, Bob Barron, in English, and he uses a lot of movie clips to do his class. And he has movie clips. Like you can't upload full on videos. Like you can't, like, say there's a PBS special and you want people to view that. You can't upload that to our YouTube account because that's a copyright infringement. And unfortunately, you're kind of at the mercy of them, wherever they host it, that they provide closed captioning. There's no way to grab a video from somewhere and upload it to YouTube and caption it and have that be okay, because we'll get flagged because YouTube has machine language now that detects like copyrighted material and it automatically blocks it. And then we also get a strike on our account, which is a big deal, because if you get 3 strikes, then they block your account, which nobody wants that.
No, I didn't know that they could do that, but I did know about third-party videos, and I think it's important for this group to know that. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, this is mainly for generated content that faculty are creating and whatnot. As far as like third-party content, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of control over that, and hopefully, most, I think, places where they host them are getting on board with closed captioning. I know we have a subscription like through the library, like Films on Demand and things like that, and I'm pretty sure that they provide closed captioning. I don't quote me on that, but and PBS I think as well. But I know the instinct is like you find something that's not captioned and you want to just download it and then upload it to YouTube so it captions it, but then we're infringing on copyright issues. So
right,
and
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So this really works for like anything that the college is generating, anything that faculty are generating for their courses, that are going up to YouTube, and fair use stuff. Like I said, if it's a clip of a movie that's used in a class, that's not a problem, but you can't just upload a full-on movie, or even, stuff. We had some issues right before this whole COVID event. There was an instructor that was wanting to play a PBS. She had a PBS documentary on a DVD, but we were able to find the PBS documentary on Films on Demand through our library, so she just pointed her students to that. So I would encourage you, if you are getting some faculty that are, they need a video like that that's on PBS or something like that, we may have access to it through the library e-resources. So that is an option.
Yeah, well, that's good news. That's good to know.
Yeah, for sure.